Good morning, we danced the whole night through. Good morning, good muffins to you. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is Facts and Friends this morning, Spilling Coffee, whatever you want to call it. There's no agenda. Lots going on in the world today. We covered the Trump rally last night, if you joined us there. Welcome back. Hi, Deidre. Hi, Liberty. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Marcy. Hey, Phil. Hey, Steph. Welcome aboard, everybody. For just joining us, we just get together in the morning sometimes and we talk about stuff. That's all. Just reacting to the news of the day. Looks like Novak's Djokovic is on the screen right there on Fox and Friends. So we'll take a look at what's going on there. He was allowed into Australia, and then he lied about his vaccine status, and he lied about his immunity, and he lied about having COVID, and then he lied about and then he was kicked out, and then he's back in, then he's kicked out, he's back in, he's kicked out. I don't know what the situation is right now. He is one of the best tennis players in the world. He's ranked number 1, but he keeps losing. So actually, he keeps winning. He won 3 of the 4 Grand Slams last year. He lost the Olympics, and he lost the U.S. Open. So he didn't get what's called the Grand Slam. The big slams are these 4 tournaments in tennis. You got your Australian Open, you got your Wimbledon, you got your French Open, you got your U.S. Open. And if you win all 4 of those, that's called the Grand Slam, like in baseball, where you get all 4 bases. And then if there's an Olympics that year and you win that, it's called a Golden Slam. So he didn't do that. But he's had just as many slams as anybody else in history, so this would be his chance to break that. He may not even be allowed to play. I don't know. I don't know what the news is this morning, so we'll find out there together. Marcy's craving Denny's. I'm still craving KFC. Deidre woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, and my hubby is laughing at my hair sticking up everywhere. Well, yeah, because you slept underneath him. You should sleep on your side of the bed, Deidre. Stephanie, the guy is obviously so full of himself, he's willing to kill people. Not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. Because I don't like it when somebody dominates everybody else so much. Especially in a single-person sport like tennis for you Americans. Plus, tennis, super, super dangerous. You doubt me? You doubt me? Check that. You can't. There. That. I'm wearing this thing because of Netsing. Yeah, he lied. He had COVID and still went to an interview. Then he lied about when we don't know what the truth is. When he found out he was COVID positive. It could have been before he went to a kid's tennis camp. It could have been after. We don't know because he said both. And when his agent apparently filled out his immigration form and said that he hadn't traveled in the last 2 weeks or had no travel planned or something, whatever he said, Djokovic then went to Instagram and said oh, well, that was a human error, and so it shouldn't count. Because normally he has, horses fill out his immigration work for him. Because you're not responsible for your immigration forms. I mean, come on, people. Producer JoJo got her Trusted Traveler program thing taken away because she took an apple from her hotel room and forgot it was in her bag. And so it went through TSA with an apple. And she had her right to travel with the fast lanes taken away from her. But this guy can lie about when he gives people COVID. And it's oh yeah, you can play. Here's your chance to make a couple $1 million. It's ridiculous. If I put a shed, if I put an awning, if I have a driveway, and behind my house, invisible from the street, if I want to put an awning, a non-permanent awning, over my carport or over the driveway to keep the leaves off my car, I get in trouble. I get castigated by the city and fined if I do that. Just put up a piece of cloth. But you can go ahead and lie on a immigration form, and everything will be just fine. We shouldn't have any buffer. We do have buffering. All right. Well, what am I going to do? So there should be a new studio soon. That being said. And I haven't seen producer JoJo yet this morning, but so I think she's probably still asleep. Hi, Josh. She's probably still asleep. She is very, very close. Like we're talking today or tomorrow, closing a deal on a house where there is a studio for us And by us, I mean me and you guys, not her. She doesn't care about the studio. which would be awesome. We are very close to that. So this morning I decided to look at the houses. There's like a couple of new houses that like might even be better than that one. So now I'm gonna throw that at her and say, hey, you know what we should do? Well, we have to get out of this house because it's being sold. While people are looking at this house, let's go look at those other two houses that are probably better than the house we're looking at now. So just to throw that. But I don't know. Oh my God. Should I do that? Should I even tell her about the other two houses? Because one of them is like, that's a great house. But it also has stairs. And her knees are not the best knees in the world, as I understand it. But they're really good right now because of medical science. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are they going to be good? I don't care about stairs. Stairs. Watch. Can't get enough. So I shouldn't tell her? I should not tell her about the house? There's nothing wrong because the house that she is looking at right now, the people are crazy. They're crazy people. I worry about it. But it has horse stables, but she doesn't have horses. She's not a horse person. I don't know. So I don't know. What do you guys say? Let's stick on this for a while. Again, this is just Facts and Friends. We're not. I decided to call it Facts and Friends this morning. We don't have an agenda here. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, as long as I want to talk about it. Because really, I'm in control. I say what's it called? There's an expression for it. It's too early to know. I actually slept like 6 hours last night. How'd you guys sleep? Besides Deidre sleeping on her husband's side of the bed, which, come on. There was a Facebook article where people say, what do you do to bother your significant other? Like the things that you do to annoy them on purpose. And one lady said, for the last 25 years, I have been getting in and out of the bed every time by rolling over my husband. That's how she gets every single time, even though her husband sleeps on the opposite side of the bathroom. In the middle of the night, she will roll over him to get out and go to the bathroom. Walk around the bed and go to the bathroom. I hope she's tiny. I do, for her husband. Or that he's very large. I don't know. I don't know what the regulations are there. Stephanie says, I'm thankful for our homeowners association. It keeps the neighborhood looking nice. You should see the neighborhoods all around us that aren't in the HOA. Stephanie judges are just arrived and they heard that too. I saw Stephanie's neighborhood. Nice little neighborhood. Nice little community. But then 2 blocks away, you don't want to be there. She's absolutely right. 100% right. Kevin Lee daughter and I were driving through and Stephanie had warned us that the neighborhoods around the area, like, don't stop and talk to people. And so we were driving through going, ugh, this is kind of sketchy. And then we turned the corner into her neighborhood and we're like, oh, look at this. This is so nice here. That being said, producer Jojo, dead set against HOA fees. I do not want to pay HOA fees. It's like, what? That's like you live in the neighborhood. You either pay for the house or you pay, which would be several $1 million above what you're willing to pay to keep the neighborhood nice. Or you pay the HOA fees of, I don't know, $200, $300 a month, whatever they are, $100, whatever they are. In New York, and if you get an apartment in New York, your HOA fees are somewhere between $2,000 and $10,000. Okay, so that's part of the house. So you have to look at that as a total of the house. But to her, it's just no matter what, you can get a cheaper house and HOA fees that add up to less than what you'd be spending on another house without HOAs. But no, it's just wrong. All right. Deidre can't even have a storage house. No, you can't. You can't put up a shed. You can't. But you can go ahead and lie to the Australian government and still play their little kids game tournament, make a couple of $1 million. At random's fees are $500 a month plus for her homeowners association. That's a nice complex though, and they keep things in nice shape. They can't keep the crime out. I was there, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, when I went through Steph's neighborhood, nice neighborhood, on the way up to Seattle. And then while I was in Seattle, I saw Rusty at Random's place. And they have a gate. Let's see if I can give you... Oh, okay. So, imagine it's a gate to a garage. I'm going to tear my headphones right off. The bars of the gate This is my crutch right here. But they're about that thick. A thick, black, solid metal on this gate. And the criminals cut right through those bars. Right? A hole through several of the bars and then crept into the garage. Just got down and went underneath. They made a hole about 2 by 2 and got into the garage to steal stuff. Thanks a lot, Biden. Stephanie's fees are only $250 a year? That's fantastic. Because whatever it is, I mean, if they could double that, Stephanie, totally worth it for your area of the woods there. Anyway, so I didn't see. Somebody said, "Don't tell her about the houses. It's cruel." It probably is. At Random says they do the upkeep. This is the homeowner association. They do the upkeep and they keep enough reserves so that we won't have an assessment if we need a large repair, like wrapping the building for siding replacement, stuff like that. Liberty says, I suppose I don't have one, but I don't live in a neighborhood. That matters. LOL. That matters. So, oh, yeah, because you don't live in a neighborhood, you're not going to have the HOA. I get it. Exactly, Phil. Welcome to Biden's America, where people steal stuff. Remember in Trump's America, where nobody ever stole anything? Paradise. Okay, let's see what's going on in Australia. But first, I want people's opinion. Should I tell her that there's a house that may potentially be better? Oh, here's where we are in the negotiations. And again, we're dealing with crazy people. The interior of the house, fine, very nice, right? Nothing wrong with the interior of the house. It's a little bit small, but nice. Like producer Joanne is going to have to purge a lot of her stuff to fit into this house. All right, yeah, that's what you got to do, right? But it's because it's smaller, it's easier to clean. There's benefits, blah blah blah. Everything that you can't see in the house is nice. Not enough storage in the kitchen, which is, to me, it's a huge deal. But you can put up more cabinets and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's a turnkey. You walk in, you're good to go. Here's the problem. Underneath the house and above the house, everything is wrong. Everything was cut corners. Now, is it a ton of repairs? No, I mean, in terms of, it's not like $100,000 worth of repairs. No, but when you're dropping that much money for a house, and the house is supposed to be turnkey, do you walk in there and be like, oh, this house is lovely. Meanwhile, underneath you, your sewerage is just dripping into the sub-basement. Not a good thing. There's French drains in the lawn. The French drain is something that just captures pools of water and drains it away and off to the sewer. So you don't get pools of water near the house, in the front yard. That's good. You want to keep the puddles away. Water is the enemy. You want to keep it away. And then the French drain is a pipe that goes underneath the house and heads to the sewer. But here's the problem. The pipe comes from the sewer and the French drain pipe comes and they never connected them. So all that water is coming off your front lawn every time you run the sprinklers or every time it rains and just going underneath the house. And just resting there in the dirt by your foundation. That's not good. Joanna does like the house. But it doesn't have some things that she would like, but have stairs. So that's a big thing as well. And it is farther from where she wants to be, where she is now. A lot of her friends are here, but it is a wonderful location in terms of being halfway between some of her friends and Lindsay, her brother, and the friends that she has in the Pasadena area. So it's the location I think is fantastic. This other location might be even better for her. Now, the location of the house that she's looking at right now, where the French drains drain right underneath the house, that location is better for me. I love that location. But this other house that specifically I'm looking at, much bigger, much, much bigger, same price. That being said, you don't know what you're paying really nowadays, because a house could list for $1 million and it could sell for 1.5, or it could sell for 800,000. There's bidding wars. It's you never know. Stephanie, it shouldn't be a money pit. It won't be, because once those things are fixed, you're going to be good. There are things like they put in a furnace that's way too big. It's a 5-ton unit. The house only needs like a 3-ton. So the 5-ton unit, the way that works is you want a unit that's the right size for your house, so the furnace heats up and keeps the house at a nice constant temperature. That being said, producer Jojo won't let anyone use the furnace, so it's not a problem. That's why I'm always wearing a sweatshirt, even in the summer. Location is a big deal. But the other location will be... The trouble is, she's not great with decisions. So if I do show her this other house... But I'm torn. Because for me, this house with the number of bedrooms, the house that she's looking at purchasing, like right now, today or tomorrow, it can be done. It's a yes or a no, because the inspection's been done, and there's contingency on inspect, and the list of repairs has been handed over. And they could say, like, yeah, no, we're not giving credit for any of that. They could do that. Or they could say, yeah, we'll give you credit for all of that. They could do that. We don't know. We don't know. But you can still, at this point, she can still walk away from that house. So Stephanie, you're saying don't tell her about the other house that I saw. That being said, I say that a lot, apparently. That's what producer Jojo told me yesterday. I say, that being said, and I say, etc. That being said, now I've forgotten what I just said. So that works out well. Liberty says, I have a money pit, do not recommend. No, I don't recommend that. But I don't think this house will be a money pit. It will just... There's no homeowners association fees, and that's the important part. Every house can be a money pit if you make it a money pit. But no, this house should be okay. But there's always that question of, well, if they went on the cheap for everything that you don't see when you're in the house itself, if the guts of the house were built on the cheap, what's around the corner for me? Oh, plus she has to pay more for insurance because it's near a fire zone. The federal government says, no, you're good. Because the brush is all the way over there. But if you're within 1,000 feet of brush, then you're in a fire zone, according to the insurance people. It's like 960 feet. And there's a dog park, which is just grass. And there's like a bunch of dirt for horses to ride around on. And then the brush, 977 feet away or something. And that still puts her higher for the insurance. But again, it's nickels and dimes compared to the cost of the house. So who knows? If it's not going to be a money pit, don't tell her. We read that already. Location does matter. Okay, so I don't know. That being said, I know what I was going to say. That being said, etc., she has probably already seen this house. Because I told her, stop looking at other houses. Don't do it. Oh, if she comes in the room, if she wakes up and comes in the room, nobody say anything. But she probably has already seen, she's not, no, it's not a fire zone. It's really not. There happens to be some brush over there, but it's next to a freeway and a river, which is just a dry concrete bed. Like, I'm not worried about being in a fire zone at all. Now, that being said, the entirety of California is a fire zone. We know that. But, yeah, I'm not worried about a fire at that place, Liberty, at all. Earthquakes, I'd be concerned with because that's California. But a fire in that location, nah. The fire would have to then burn across the dog park, which is just grass and dirt. And then, now, anytime, that's why 1,000 feet, because a spark can fly and... Not particularly worried about it. Let's find out exactly what's going on with Djokovic, whether he's getting in or not.
Moments ago, a plane bound for Dubai after losing his appeal.
Oh, he's out! Holy crap! So the Australian Open, which he's won, I don't know, like 6 or 7 times, wide open. Wow. Wow. So they got rid of him. Good for them. Judges agree. Hold to your guns, Australia. Everybody else in Australia has to follow those rules. And remember, Australia has done much better with the virus than the United States. Way better. Everybody in Australia has to live by the rules in Australia. But this guy, because he's rich and good at hitting a ball, he doesn't have to live by those rules. Good job, mates.
To stay in Australia.
He's wearing a mask in a car. Good.
Tennis superstar fighting to play.
It's like the first time he's ever worn a mask. By the way, at the beginning of it all, at the beginning of the pandemic, he was out having COVID parties, and a bunch of people got sick at his COVID parties.
In the Australian Open, a court ruling overnight against Djokovic staying in the country to compete in the tournament. He told reporters that he was disappointed.
Oh, good morning, producer Joanna. Producer Joanna says, sad for tennis and sad. He's such a dick. He is a dick. See? She used to be a fan. And now I have her totally, because I knew right away. So she should listen to me. That's the moral of the story.
Respects the court's decision. This all stems from Djokovic's stance against taking the COVID-19 vaccine. He says he has an anti community.
He's an anti-vaxxer. Which is why they call him Novax Djokovid.
And to Fox Weather alert as a powerful winter storm spreads to the south overnight after blanketing the Midwest. Today, over 2,300...
Yeah, major serious snowstorm coming in across. It's been across the Midwest. It's coming into the east. There will be shortages at your grocery store, and if you live in those areas, it has nothing to do with Joe Biden. This is how winter works.
The heavy snow, strong winds, and lingering low temperatures, creating treacherous road conditions. Local officials are bracing for mass power outages. Track all of your severe weather coverage by downloading COVID-19.
Okay.
Weather app. And those are your headlines. Here we go again. More cancellations.
All right. Well, we have more for you this morning, starting with this. SNL's President Biden has a solution to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Oh, there was an SNL last night. Okay, cool. I might have. Well, let's see how much we can watch, because NBC for SNL will give you a copyright strike in a half second. So,
America, I'm here to tell you there's one simple thing
hey, that's pretty good. He's pretty good at that.
you can do to make this whole virus go away. Stop seeing Spider-Man.
We'll roll the full tape
It's actually, that makes sense.
when we come back.
Oh, that's it? Now we go to commercial? Hold on. Let's see if we get ahead here. We might watch a little Marie 46. It's just going to be a short one this morning. Okay, here we go. There's vitamins. The right wing is just all about selling vitamins, by the way. So's the left. Okay, go.
Made by this Glenn Youngkin. People are excited.
People are excited, and here's the thing.
Oh, yeah, so Glenn Youngkin is the new, I almost said prime minister, the new governor in Virginia. That he beat out the old guy who was a Democrat, and so he walked in, and then his first day, he made 9 different executive orders or something, to save America in Virginia. And his first one was CRT is not allowed to be taught in schools, which it isn't. So a bunch of nonsense. No more masks, no vaccine mandates, all of it. He just went all down. Yeah. So and he gave parents the right to sue school boards or something. Just.
Glenn Youngkin, all throughout the campaign, had promised to get to work on day one, and just hours after he was signed into office, he did just that. The former private equity executive and political outsider really was seen as a long shot in the beginning of all of this, but November, Youngkin did something that no Republican in Virginia had done in 12 years and won a statewide election. And his optimism once again vowing to increase police funding and combat inflation through tax cuts. Overall, Governor Youngkin promised to restore power to the people.
Because you can control inflation in one state with some tax cuts. That's how it does. Makes total sense economically. Inflation doesn't have anything to do with supply and demand. What you do is you give the rich tax cuts, and then inflation comes down. Whereas right across the river in Washington, D.C., they're going to have inflation, but we're not here because we have tax cuts.
And he addressed parents directly.
Did he? Marcy said he also had the diversity part of the government website.
We will remove politics from the classroom, and we will focus on essential math, and science, and reading, and we will teach
but not reading anything about history.
all of our history, the good and the bad.
But they're not teaching CRT already. So that's never been a thing. I don't remember if anyone was watching at the time, but I went through and I looked. I took the syllabus. I took the curriculum from the Virginia public schools. I just picked County. I looked in Loudoun County and I looked down the syllabi, and there's nothing in there about the CRTs.
Immediately following the inauguration ceremony and parade, Governor Youngkin issued 11 executive actions, including ending the use of divisive concepts like critical race theory, reversing a mask requirement for school children, and ordering investigation into the wrongdoing in Loudoun County.
No. Now you're framing it as wrongdoing. Into the wrongdoing. It's alleged wrongdoing. It's possible wrongdoing, and there was none. I'm sure there's some wrongdoing in Loudoun County. But Georgia says, I was up for hours in the middle of the night listening to a book about the Lusitania to finally put me back to sleep. What shouldn't you tell me? That I've already gone to KFC this morning. So I have a bucket of chicken in the kitchen. You're not welcome to it.
New Attorney General Jason Miyares will now lead the charge looking into the controversy out of Loudoun County, where the new administration has accused the school board of covering up the alleged sexual assault of a student. Now, it is
that's a big deal. That is wrongdoing.
It's likely that Governor Youngkin's executive actions will face at least some legal challenges in the weeks to come. Will Rachel Peep?
What? Rachel Beep?
Alexandria.
Oh, Will Pete. Will Rachel Beep? I don't know. Let's find out.
Thank you so much for that report.
Thank you.
Pete,
Beep.
Will, I have a lot of friends, including a sister who lives in Virginia.
That's so nice.
And there is a palpable level of excitement there, particularly among parents who are sick and tired of the mask mandates for their kids. That was probably the thing.
They're so sick and tired of COVID.
I heard the most from my friends as this inauguration took place, but so much more. I mean, that he's promising to refund the police and make sure that they have the resources they need. People have seen crime go up. It's not just business owners. Every citizen there, even in the nicer parts of Alexandria, have been seeing crime go up. So there is a lot of excitement about this. By the way, we're going to have Winsome Sears, the lieutenant governor.
Yeah, so the vice governor
Coming up at 9:20.
That's the diversity on the ticket right there.
a.m. Eastern.
Oh, good. Oh, we'll watch that.
Fox and Friends.
We'll watch that. Hold on. Let's see. 9:20. So what? I don't even know what time. 9:20. So 6:20 our time. Can we figure out what that? Let's see if it it doesn't tell me what time it started. So now we just have to kind of guess. Let's see if we can find her somewhere. Well, there's My Pillow. There's okay, so there's two. Hold on. Right in here. It might be right in here. Give me a second, folks. Let me see if I can find it here. There's the SNL replay. How about right here? Are we in this area right here somewhere? 9:20. Oh, she's not there either. What about here? Do we have her here? No. Where the heck is she? Maybe in this area here. There's that. Here we go. Here we go. I bet this is it. Let's find out.
Discover Blue Diamond.
What?
It makes
Come
everything
on.
unbelievable.
This November, we have a chance.
The governor.
Here we go. Here we go.
So the question of who the former president might endorse here. Many Republicans say
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, he wasted no time signing off on new executive orders that gave parents say in their kids' education during his first hours in office. Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears making history with her swearing in as she becomes the first woman of color to hold statewide office. And Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears joins us now. Lieutenant Governor, congratulations on being sworn in yesterday. So the governor came out of the gates hot, a set of executive orders to sort of put Virginia back on the right track, back in a direction that we hope empowers Virginians. What do we hope to see accomplished here in the first couple of months?
I tell you what's real, and good morning to your viewers, is that he has designated a chief transformation officer looking for inefficiencies and rooting them out in government. Can you believe that? Imagine common sense ideas to ensure that the people's money is being spent properly.
She's wearing exactly the same outfit.
And so he's also put in the executive orders against mask mandates, vaccine mandates.
I was going to say she's a little overdressed for Fox and Friends, but usually I don't comment on women's clothing, but that was jarring.
And that is exactly what we can.
That being said, if she has one nice outfit, I'd rather her wear that than spend a bunch of taxpayer money on other outfits. I'm fine with it. It was just kind of weird that, okay.
Campaigned on, and he's fulfilling campaign promises. And then,
I mean, if you have to wear that for your inauguration, it seems appropriate. And then you're on TV, on national TV, on a Sunday morning show, also appropriate. Or you've just run a marathon and now you're cold and you need to use it as a space blanket, completely appropriate. Again, no issue.
did you see that he also had an executive order?
Or if you want to make popcorn after being on the show, you want to watch the show, you can make popcorn in it. You just wrap the kernels inside the jacket.
About anti-Semitism.
You don't want to overdo it, though. Like 1.5 minutes. Wait until there's a 2-second gap between popping sounds in the microwave. Life hacks. You're welcome.
You know, we in Virginia have suffered greatly from that, and he's ensuring it doesn't happen anymore. We're going to protect all people.
What have they? I wasn't even paying attention. I don't even know what they suffered greatly. Okay.
There's so much that he's doing, and it's only day one.
Oh, it was 11 executive actions on the first day. I saw a list of 9. I guess there's 2 extras.
You know, Lieutenant Governor, obviously what we're focusing on there, I think appropriately, is action, but symbolism is the other side of this. Your very existence, your elect of, first of all, I think rejection of the arguments made against many voters in Virginia.
What?
Also against the state of the...
Your existence, your very existence is symbolic. Nice. Okay, excuse me, there's an elephant right over here. He's on the couch.
Country that somehow, because of the color of your skin, you're born either a victim or an oppressor. Your existence today, your office today is a rejection of that. And as we head into Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I'm just curious about your reflection.
All right. I'm just going to repeat what our current president, Biden, and us has said about racism when they were asked, is racism systemic in America? Their answer was absolutely no. And so I am the embodiment of what we're trying to achieve in America. We want everyone to have equal opportunity. And here I sit today to say it can happen. I am so tired of those who look at life as being the glass is half empty. What a negative way to continue to view life, because, you know, life is going to hit you hard and you have to be prepared for it. You come out of the womb.
So you don't want to look at life with a negative lens, because life is going to hit you hard.
Screaming. That ought to be an indication of how things are going to be. The rich suffer, yes. The poor suffer, and everybody in between. We can make...
I hate people who look at the glass as half empty, but because everyone suffers. Everyone suffers. Life is about suffering, and it will hit you hard. So be optimistic.
Make it. We can make it.
You come out of the womb screaming. That's an indication how life can be. I've never heard that, but that's certainly interesting. And then life is, as you point out, overcoming, and to take this full circle back to action. So
that is such a Russian point of view, by the way.
We've seen the Attorney General.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jojo, but the Russians just believe that life is suffering. Any amount of happiness, they look at Americans as like, what is happening over there? Life is about suffering.
So he's going to be,
and that's just from my reading of Tolstoy, etc. But it's a very different viewpoint of the world.
Looking for accountability, for example, in Loudoun, we've seen the
morning, Andy,
governor now issuing executive orders from your position as lieutenant governor.
The rich people suffer, therefore they should get tax breaks in order to control inflation. That's just good economic science.
What will be the major focus for action?
Well, for me, certainly my very first duty is to preside over the Senate, and I'm hoping that I get as many tie-breaking votes as our outgoing lieutenant governor. He had 52, and I'm raring to go. We're going to be repealing some of the really bad laws, made no sense, turned us against each other. You know, Martin Luther King Jr., we're going to celebrate his day on Monday, the day that I take the gavel. And, you know, it's historic, yes. But after the history, because, you know, it's done, I'm in. We're going to repeal, as I said, bad laws. I'm going to be the example to show the children, if you understand that you stay in school and study, I didn't do anything special, that's all I did, you can do it too. We're going to push for school choice, because if the schools are deciding that they're going to stay closed, well, then we're going to say no. Give the money then to the parents to make the decision on where they can send their children.
I'm not sure why she'd have a lot of tie-breaking votes, because right now the Virginia Senate is 21 to 18. Well, 21 to 19, really. One independent that votes Republican most of the time. So, you know what? I hope she gets a chance to cast some tie-breaking votes, too.
To school. We're not going to worship the brick building any longer. They're going to have choices. You know, our former presidents on the Democratic side, they have sent their children.
So yeah, it's a good quote from Woody Allen. To love is to suffer. To not love is to suffer.
Children to private schools, and in Virginia as well, the past governors, children go to private schools. Well, let's everybody have that opportunity. Thank you very much. And
that's called public schools.
We're going to help the rest of the country to understand you can do it. We will do it.
Instead of having public schools, you should have private schools that everybody can go to, that are aided by the government, that get to have the government funding, but they're not public schools.
Together, we can live together in unity. We are going to disagree on the laws that we make, but, you know, we don't have to be disagreeable. And by the way, Martin Luther King Jr. said, look to the future. And so my saying is, we're going to move ever forward.
Well, that's a message this morning of inspiration. We may come into this world screaming, but there's plenty of reasons along the way to smile. I think you've given us one here in the past. Winsome Sears, we wish you the best of luck now in your new job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. By the way, you can catch Winsome Sears as part of a special. Pete.
I didn't think so. I thought Martin Luther King said a look to the future. That was his. He gave a speech called A Look to the Future. He didn't say look to the future. Let me just make sure. I've got it pulled up right now. Fine.
Special Miseducation of America.
It changes the meaning of what she says. So good. There's a clip I like to play on Martin Luther King Day. I'll play it tomorrow if we do a broadcast. We probably will. A wonderful look at. I'll save it. But in fact, if I don't play it during the day tomorrow on this broadcast, I'll put it up on Twitter. But it's my favorite Martin Luther King. It's not the I Have a Dream.
I want to get this right, so let's make sure we get that up on screen. There's a live summit streaming on Thursday. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's on Fox Nation, so you can hear from Winsome, and that's leading into Pete's miss.
Yeah, I just scanned through the speech, and he never said look to the future. The speech is called A Look to the Future. We talks about the future.
Education of America special. That's also up.
None of those people are interesting. I think that's it for this morning, guys. My foot's starting to hurt, so I'm going to go get some ibuprofens. And you guys have a wonderful day. I don't know if we'll see you later. Oh, here we go. Here's the doctor. Let's do the person, woman, main camera TV doctor first. See what he has to say.
BioSlim, the #1 probiotic fat.
Stop it! What? Seriously?
Without proof.
Here we go.
Proof of vaccination would not be allowed, well, anywhere. So stay in your house or face the National Guard. Here to react, Fox News medical contributor Dr. Mark Siegel.
Wait.
Dr. Troubling recommendation to state leaders who refuse to mandate the COVID vaccine. In an op-ed, the Salt Lake Tribune suggests the governor's next move would be to find a way to mandate the kind of mass vaccination campaign we should have launched a year ago, going as far as to deploy the National Guard to ensure that people without proof of vaccination would not be allowed, well, anywhere. So stay in your house.
I have no problem with that. Or if you have medical reasons not to get vaccinated. No, I still have time for truth. I still not have received my KFC. It's too early in the morning for KFC. Said nobody ever.
Or face the National...
No, Jojo, you don't need to bake today. She was making caramel last night.
Guard. Here.
She was, I don't know, at 9 o'clock at night after the Trump speech, she's making caramel. She decided she had to make a bunch of caramel because you can't just buy caramel for cheap. Anyway, she decided to make a bunch of caramel, and then we sat down to watch Don't Look Up, and she was asleep 45 minutes into the movie because she's all tuckered out from making caramel.
To react, Fox News medical contributor Dr.
How do you get access to movie nights? That's kind of up to the group. So if somebody, oh no, you know what? You just become a patron, and I usually send it out on Patreon. So Patreon, $1 a month, you can that basically buys you access, or just listen to the broadcast on Fridays. Sometimes I'll talk about it there. But yeah, you're welcome in my book. But I don't really make the rules on that. That's up to the people that call themselves the Kevinly family. So guys, if someone's in charge of that, I don't even know who, just talk to Phil.
Mark Siegel. Dr. Siegel.
Yeah.
Good morning. What is your reaction to this?
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. And then they come back and they ask you, and you say, person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Op-ed from the Salt Lake Tribune.
Well, look, if there's one thing we've learned over the last 24 hours with Rabbi Charlie in Colleyville, Texas, is that we need kindness, as he always says, rather than fear and intimidation. And if the
Okay, but that's not about the coronavirus.
National Guard of Utah is going to be deployed, how about they find us some of these monoclonal antibodies we need to treat people who have
that don't work on Omicron, and they're not hidden. They didn't put them in the hills of Park City. It's not how this works, Dr. Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV.
Severe or impending severe cases of COVID, not to intimidate people, when the real way to approach the vaccine, as Dr. Andy Pavia at the University of Utah, who I've interviewed, says, is to talk.
By the way, this is the same guy who said when Biden took office, there was no way he was going to safely get to 100 million doses of vaccine in a short period of time. There was no way that could happen. He couldn't do it safely. Same doctor.
To people.
Spoiler alert, he did.
Talk to parents, talk to children. He's the head of infectious diseases for pediatrics at University of Utah. He also handles adults. He talks to people about risks and benefits, not intimidation. Complete misuse of the National Guard. Maybe they even were hearing the president the other day saying he's going to haul.
That's not, I mean, the National Guard wasn't sent out to hold people down, storm houses, break down doors, hold them down while they vaccinate them. It's just a logistical thing. That's all. Because the staff is all getting sick. Because medical staff, I don't know what the situation is like in Utah, but in areas of the country, 25 to 40% of the medical staff is out right now with COVID infection.
FEMA and the National Guard, fine, but use it to help people who don't have the supplies they need.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Don't have the vaccine.
So I'm going to get on TV and I'm going to tell you people to do exactly what you're going to do.
Or don't have the treatments, which none of us have, and the testing, not to intimidate people and potentially harm them.
Right. That's right. The National Guard should not be out there shooting people between the eyes. That is what I say. If you're going to do this, do it with people in the legs either. It's very important. They've got 24 hours a day to fill. So this
major American newspaper asking that the United States military be used to keep unvaccinated people in their homes. No small moment. Hey, speaking of op-eds, Dr. Siegel, you have one.
No, they don't. Okay.
Will you address some of your patients who have had the vaccine, had the booster, have had 3 shots, and yet still they got Omicron? What are you telling those patients?
Well, it's what they're telling me, Will. They're angry. They're saying, I don't believe you. I don't believe the president of the United States. You oversold this vaccine. Here's where you start with that. You admit it. You say, look, the vaccine clearly is a tool to decrease severity. It works to help you stay out of the hospital. It works to help you have a less severe case, as does immunity from prior COVID. Let's admit that. And the virus itself, Omicron, in a lot of cases appears to be less severe. Let's talk truth here. That's how you get people to comply with what you're suggesting.
Let's talk truth that the vaccine is much more effective at keeping you out of the hospital than prior infection. Let's just say that as well. Let's make that very important. And that if you have had the prior infection, the vaccine will protect you even more. I mean, if you want to talk truth, I mean, that's one of the things. It's not playing.
You eat some humble pie and you say, it's not what we said. We thought it was going to prevent spread. It does that a
No, it does.
little bit. But the main...
Not a little bit. If you've got the booster shot, you're back up into the 70 to 90 percentile. Okay. So my son and his girlfriend, no booster yet. Even though I was telling him, guys get boosted, but they were having trouble making appointments at the, you go online to make an appointment, no appointments available. They didn't get boosted. They both got it. My daughter, boosted, spent the day with them while they were actually infected, although they weren't infected till the next day. We don't know. They weren't symptomatic, but we don't know when the actual virus is contagious. That being said, she didn't get it. So she lived in the same small house with them overnight, didn't get it. That's coincidental, and a whole bunch of boosted people are getting it, and our good friend JoJo's brother, he's fully boosted. He was really sick. Terrible sore throat, body aches, muscle pain, like a really bad flu for over a week. So, he didn't go to the hospital, which is, look at the people that are dying, it is still overwhelmingly the people that are unvaccinated, regardless of whether or not they have had COVID.
The thing it does is it decreases severity. That's the key here. And by the way, that's another reason the mandate idea is completely out of date. Even if it had some purpose early, it's not the kind of vaccine you can mandate if it doesn't prevent spread. So it's spreading, and people are saying, why am I?
Well, no, it prevents people from taking up hospital space. That's the whole point, to slowing the curve, or flattening the curve, slowing this curve, stopping the spread, whatever. If it's going to spread, it's going to spread. But you want to keep people out of the hospital system so that if I have a heart attack, I don't die because I are.
Why am I getting it, Will? Why am I getting it? I got the vaccine, I got boosted, I had COVID, and I'm still getting it. It's because this variant spreads that way. Let's admit it.
But Dr. Siegel, really quickly here as we go out, for anyone who has questions about the vaccine, much of those questions have been fed by the fact they feel like they've been propagandized to. That honest conversation you described just simply has not taken place.
It has.
Instead, there's been hectoring.
No, they're just stupid.
Been calls for the National
I don't want to put that in my body. Give me that boner pill.
Guard to lock down the unvaccinated. And
you're going to get autism in 10 years.
And there's been untruths every step of the way, to your point.
That's very likely an untruth.
And that does not breed confidence. That people see right through. They see propaganda.
No, there's been no untruths about the vaccine from the side giving the vaccine.
And that doesn't breed any type of belief or faith in the vaccine.
People are doubling down on the same mistakes they were making before. They were hitting you over the head with the vaccine and calling it a pandemic of the unvaccinated before. Now they're doubling.
It is. The people in the hospital are unvaccinated. Not everyone, but the vast majority. The people that are dying, vast majority.
Down. Let's listen to my grandmother who used to say,
hectoring is a word, yeah.
You catch more bees with kindness and with honey than with...
Your grandmother was an idiot. First off, you don't want to catch bees. You want to catch flies, and you want to use honey, not kindness. Your grandmother said never said you catch more bees with kindness and with honey. Dr. Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV. No, she did not. Although she had some of your genes, so maybe she did.
Vinegar and down on the same mistakes they were making before. They were hitting you over the head with the vaccine.
Nobody's hitting anybody over the head with a vaccine.
Calling it a pandemic of the unvaccinated before. Now they're doubling down. Let's listen to my grandmother who used to say, you catch more bees with kindness and with honey than with vinegar. And I imagine Pete in the background cringing about the use of the
bees make honey. I'm not sure how effective honey is as a bee catcher. I don't know.
National Guard to try to force people to take vaccines or separate them if they don't. Imagine that, a hero like Pete, what he thinks about that, Will.
Maybe I'll ask him in just a moment. But hey, how about
a hero like Pete? Pete who? Maybe we'll ask him in a moment. Pete who? I don't know.
Not just kindness as your honey, but how about honesty and truth as well? And I think that's what you've called for this morning. I've heard you. Have an honest and truthful conversation. People can see right through you lying to them and propagandizing them.
So good luck catching those bees. You catch bees with queens. I know that. Wow. So good luck with all of that. I'm not sure what he's after here. I really don't know what Dr. Purr wants at this point. And again, everyone's so upset that previous infection is not counted, as it wasn't with Novavax. The trouble is that Delta doesn't seem to be much of a deterrent. If you catch Delta, it's not a deterrent against catching Omicron. Omicron appears to be a deterrent against catching Delta, which is very good news. Omicron may have spelled the end for Delta. Fantastic! Because Delta put a bunch of people in the hospital. Omicron is too, because it spread so much. But it may in fact be, like I said, right from the very beginning, when it came out of South Africa, actually Botswana, but South Africa, it may be the virus that we're hoping for. Not quite as deadly, but just deadly enough to give us herd immunity, if that makes sense. It doesn't. Okay. You guys know what I'm saying. So Omicron may end up being the savior of us all. Or not. We don't know what the next variant is. By the way, there's a Facebook thing going around where a doctor of immunology from Massachusetts General or something like that, and it's you know it was fake right away because he says this will happen, it's that sort of thing. Doctors say it's a possibility we might see something, especially somebody who's the director of immunology. So the bottom line is don't believe anything you read on Facebook. And the system, I looked it up yesterday when I saw the post. Somebody sent me the post, and I said, no, that's nonsense. And I looked it up, and sure enough, the hospital system 6 days ago issued a statement saying, nope, completely out of context, not what the doctor said. So until next time, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and most importantly, do not drink your own urine.